Really? Any color. No, not about it. Okay. I just was trying to do this scheme right here. I didn't say oh, I'm getting better at it. It doesn't hit the wall anymore. Hello.
Hi.
Happy New Year. Well, it's really April 10th. So the warm weather. Please. Okay, so just a reminder, the calendar has gone out. We have merged all of our calendars. So if you are still using our Google Calendar, it's okay because we put everything on it. So you'll just be able to click on the links and see if it's via Zoom or in person or where it's at. And you can check that out at your own convenience.
Real quick, I just want to make one comment on the training calendar. One of the changes that we're making heading into 2023 is you got to think about this. For the last 3 years, it's been a speed-based market. Okay? It's speed to the lead is basically the success factor of whether you will convert the lead. Right? Like, so let's say you go on a listing appointment. You go on a listing appointment, you were there within pretty quickly after when they set it versus allowing someone else to get in. The likelihood of you getting the listing was extremely high. The likelihood of a buyer signing buyer agency with you right after they met you because you successfully completed a buyer consultation, like speed to lead. And I'll talk about this later on. We're entering a skill-based market. Okay? How sharp your sword or how sharp your axe is will determine how many trees you cut down. Okay, so one of the things that we looked at is we are going to be leaning heavily from a training and education standpoint so that you get diversity of thought, diversity of approach that relates to how you sharpen your sword and sharpen your axe. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And one of the things that we recognized as we, I've really kind of come into this, I said, man, instead of like just giving these guys perspective of people within their four walls, why don't we give everybody access to everybody's perspective across all of southeastern Wisconsin? So if you want to show up and do this, that, or the other, or someone from Heartland wants to show up in New Berlin because, I don't know, Scott's running a mastermind or James is doing this, like we want to add and offer more access to opportunities for everyone so that every single day of the week you're looking at it like, man, I get this perspective here, I can do this. And so it's not to take away from what has been done here, it's actually to add on top of here and everywhere else. Like you guys do the Morning Mojo, which I'm incredibly impressed by. And we're like, we should jump into the morning, like we should be encouraging our folks to jump into the Morning Mojo because the message that's being sent that morning that benefit everything. So that's kind of our thought process we head into 2023 is like, how do we leverage our scale as to what we're doing and add more value to everybody? And that starts with one of the first things you'll see. It's just blending more opportunities for people to do things and offer you, listen, if you want to go to the pricing strategies with Fair Hinton, it's at 2:00 in Lake Country on Wednesday. By all means, go do it. And it's really good. Those guys did 140 million last year between two markets. And if you want to learn about this, that, and the other, like you'll notice it's colored and it's going to be it's a little messy right now. We're trying to clean it up, but we're trying to maximize the opportunity for you to lean into a skills-based market to learn the skills you need to be successful. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And if you have feedback to it, like hit us up. It's by no means perfect and it's a little messy right now. We're just trying to say, man, there's so much out there. How do we maximize it so you guys can take advantage of it? Cool. Sweet. Elliot, let you keep going.
Yeah, and you will notice at the bottom, there's the key for the colors. And when you get this in the email from Kathleen, you can click on that little KW and it goes to the master calendar on Google. So you can always save that one as well. So little tips and tricks. Okay. So our mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, legacies worth leaving. And Does everyone here know the Y4C2Ts? Like, can you say them off? Me either. We can send it out to you. Yep, we'll send it in the recap. Yeah, it's always good to put it into your listing appointments. So we are definitely about win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing. Customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success is results through people. So it is a relationship business. And with our values, we do have a lot of gratitude. We haven't been very grateful in December. So we have a lot to go through, so I'll do those quickly. I'll get my readers on. Welcome to 45. Okay, so many thanks to Lisa Packard for having my back and making sure I'm dressed appropriately. Lisa Kirkleberg.
That's a loaded.
That's just the way I show up here, see up twice a week, just to a little humor in everyone's life.
Yes, the Lisas in this office are very funny. Okay, thank you, Angelique, for your kind words and encouragement, and especially the hug that drew tears that needed to be released. I appreciate you, Tanika. All right. To Brooke, thank you for coming in last Saturday on your day off to save us during the Homegrown Capper client event. I appreciate you so much. That's from Michelle. Let's see. To Katie G and everyone who helped on our Pie Day. Okay, this is how long we haven't done it. Every year this gets bigger and more work, and yet you all make it run so smoothly. Thank you, Zach. And Zach also gave one to everyone. Thank you to everyone who danced. If you didn't dance, you're not famous. On Pie Day. Okay, so to Brooke and Reggie, thank you so much for all your amazing teaching in the DFI role. Jessica, because Jessica was our Monday. And grateful to Tina Reddick for allowing us to use her red Santa chair for the Photos with Santa event the KW Capper held. Because of you, Tina, we had a suitable place for Santa to sit. From Stu. No, we can't have him sitting on a stool. I know, right? And standing would just be weird. Okay, this one's for Sue. Knowing Sue is equal to a warm slice of apple pie with ice cream on top. She's wonderful, and I'm very grateful for her. Michelle Glenn from HSA. And then also so grateful to Mark Smith for picking up the red Santa chair from Tina's house and bringing it to the office in his truck. He didn't even hesitate when I asked him. So thanks, Mark. And these will all be in your inboxes. So that's so nice. Thank you to everyone who wrote. Happy. Let's see. So we'd like to welcome 2 new agents to the team. Zach Fairbanks, he came from Badger Realty. Royce brought him over, and then Jean Henning, she is joining the Krickeberg group. So welcome to both of them. Jean is in California right now, so we'll have to welcome her better when she's back because I'm jealous. And then also welcome Deshaun Smith. He is from Shore West. He just came over. Ethan Sanchez brought him over. So welcome, Deshaun. And he already, okay, so he came in for an meeting on Friday, signed the paperwork on Friday, and then showed up to Ignite on Monday. So that's awesome.
It only took 4 months.
And then congratulations for the first closings with KW. So Royce, Diane, and the A team. Congratulations. Look, whoop, whoop, we got a camper in the house. Where is he?
Right here.
Oh, there you go.
You capped before, never got.
I capped, I
Yeah,
got
he's got.
Because of COVID, I think.
Oh, yeah.
There was a short, it was
Yeah.
a supply chain issue.
It was.
Supply
chain,
Yeah.
We didn't have the right, delivery equipment like gloves and masks to give it to you. Okay, so Dawn, would you like to give our compliance update?
Yeah. Woo, compliance.
Woo!
So Sarah's usually the one who goes through your opportunities and like sends it back to you. So, but you can ask any of us on the compliance team. But Sarah and I were talking, and I'm guilty of this as well. But she mentioned that there's been a couple of opportunity errors that she's been seeing a lot. So let's just make sure everybody's aware of it, top of mind. But the one that she's seeing a lot is not anybody filling out an offer, whether it's you as the buyer's agent or you're receiving it as the listing agent, and not marking who the buyer's agent is the agent of. So are they the agent of the buyer, the agent of the seller, buyer, the seller, on the top first line, first thing to strike. So if you are a listing agent, I had one like last week, so she's but it's been, I guess it's been a lot.
Sorry.
No, it's me too. It's me too. So if you are a listing agent and you notice this when you get an offer, feel free to send that as a counter right away just to fix it before accepted offer. If you notice it's already been accepted, just send an amendment over and you can just specify who the agent is. So Sarah will ask you to fix it. So if you notice it first, just take care of it and then she won't send it back. And then the other thing, so quick tip, we've had this happen with a couple different agents. So again, worth mentioning, how many of you guys, when you are acting as a buyer's agent, do you see a closing statement for every buyer transaction, like before closing? Like you see the before closing, you see the draft. So some title companies send them out automatically. If you are not seeing them before closing, you should, it's in your best interest to ask the title company for a copy of. And in your client's best interest, yeah. So some of the common things that we're seeing when someone is not asking for those ahead of time is credits being missed, home warranties not being paid for. So you don't want that to cost you a home warranty. And then we've had a couple of instances lately where commission's been wrong. So it didn't match what was advertised in the MLS. So it's much easier to take care of that ahead of time than to go back after. So just good to know that as a buyer's agent, you are within your right to check it. It's good for your client. Yes.
Can I add in a
Yeah.
little bit? So a lot of times what we'll see is there may be agreements that we may not know about. So sometimes a listing will show that you'll get paid a higher commission, but all we'll get is the listing agreement,
Yes.
not necessarily the incentive fees.
Yes.
So we can't put on there what we don't know. So it's always a good idea to send us extra information and review your closing statement. Like I could stand up and applaud you right now.
It's one of those, it's not the title company's fault. Like they don't know what they don't know, but it's like just making sure that nothing was dropped.
I think I can speak for all title companies by saying, we're not looking for you guys to match prorations and check the payoffs. That's our job. And frankly, that's what you have title insurance for. What we can't fix after the fact are the commissions, the admin fees, those types of things, the credits, if amendments fly around and we don't necessarily always get them. So just have a quick brief overlook of the commissions. We want you to hate that. That's the worst when you don't get your
And Lynn, how soon before closing is it probably good for someone to ask for that?
Depends on the transaction. For us, we try to get those closing statements out 2 weeks to a week. A week is usually our we better get this out.
Awesome. So if you haven't, if you know your closing is next week, feel free to reach out. And you haven't seen it yet, reach out, put that feeler out there.
Yep.
So some title companies do it automatically, some need a poke, so don't hesitate. Yes.
I just have a question, does anyone experience the feedback that the pushback, when you're asking, so if you're not, so a lot of times if you have a good relationship with the title company, it's not a problem to ask for the closing statement, but if it's a lender and they're using their own title company, there's a lot of pushback, and sometimes they say that they don't have to share that with us.
So the reality behind that is legally, if it's your buyer, if you're looking for a copy, and this is when we switched to this new closing disclosure, we all said, I don't know who thought of this is a bad idea. With the new closing disclosures, legally, unless your customer has said it's okay for us to share that with you because of the privacy policies, we can't share that with anyone. Even if we had a seller that said, oh, I want a copy of that buyer CD, legally, unless the buyer says it's okay for us to get that, they do that. So if you know you want it, make a form that they sign, share my information.
Or just get the seller.
I feel like we've had this conversation before as a market center. Then we talk about maybe templating some sort of language, buyer agency agreement that then gives the buyers giving express permission for the brokerage to.
But how
obtain that.
many times does the buyer's title company get that buyer agency agreement? I know
Well,
for a
let's-
fact, Focus gets it,
Yeah.
because as soon as we get the order, we send off an email and say, if you have a buyer agency agreement, share that with us. So we have it. So as long as the title company,
because we have because we have the BAC, we're always getting it to,
Yeah.
The title companies, but yeah. Okay,
But
got it.
shouldn't the first line tell us who we're working for, and you're working for the buyer? Which means you should have a buyer agency agreement. Am I not right?
Yeah, but title doesn't require it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's on the offer.
So you're working on their behalf, but
Right.
they may see that still, does that,
that doesn't.
you don't
mean
get their
you have the
private
right to
information.
Their financial.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of language with a signature that they're giving
Yeah,
permission.
I would-
Yep.
Or send an email that's copied, the title company's copied in, hey, please share this with my title.
My other question was, like you said, we're probably, even though I do look at prorations, I know that's on my job, the title for that. You're really saying the thing that we need to be looking for as agents, mainly commission, credits, things
Yes.
like that. So if we reach out to a title company and just said, hey, okay, in this sense, Melissa's talking about when we get a rocket mortgage lead, they want to use their own title company. We're not familiar with them, they won't give us that closing disclosure. Can she request at least then let us know what the commission and any credits?
So how that works on a buyer CD is, commission, prorations, those are all directed by the seller's title company. So as long as you have the seller's closing statement, you're good.
Okay.
Where the hiccup falls, and this was why we said this is never gonna work, is because you don't see if you are charging a $4.95 buyer agency fee, you don't see that. So the only way that we can say push for it to make sure is send that to the seller's title company, so it's on the closing statement. So if it doesn't make it to the buyer's side, you can still say, well, it's on here. Unfortunately, your lender wouldn't let us have it on there. We still are owed that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any other questions? So, thank you, Lynn. That's. I'm glad you're here.
I do have a little pro tip for some of the newer agents, if you're ever wondering when you send a counter versus an amendment, just remember accepted offer, amendment, counter's always before. Allison.
While we're on the subject of opportunities, I would just like to remind everyone where you can find a copy of your closing statements if you're looking for them. So every time I process a closing, I upload a copy of your disbursement agreement. So that's your commission breakdown into this folder that says disbursement agreement. You can click on it right there to see it. And then the front desk ladies will, every time you turn in a closing, they'll scan it and they'll upload it for you. Sometimes we miss them. We're just going through so many documents, it's easy to miss. So if you're missing one, just let us know and we'll be happy to go back and find it. But if you are going through at the end of the year and looking for closing statements for the whole past year, you'll just have to go into all of your transactions and find them that way. We don't have the manpower to go through for 160 agents digging up all your transactions, so. Yeah, so does anyone have any questions on how to find these? Cool. Pro tip.
I'm actually, I think, I just need to refresh this because I feel like we've missed some slides.
No, I put mine in right there.
Yeah, but we put some in before you.
Okay, I'll speak. Michelle's out today, dealing with some health issues. But couple just quick reminders for the group in January, since the beginning of time, inception of time, KW Associates are charged a $25 fee that goes on your invoice that comes up in January. It's the annual profit sharing fee to be a part of the profit sharing system. So I just wanted you guys to know in advance, total transparency, that you'll see an additional $25 in your invoice for profit sharing in January. Cool. Perfect. Second thing is, who made a single penny in 2022? It's from KW. 80% of the room. Beautiful. I'm speaking to you, this 80% of the room. You can expect to get your 1099s in early February. Okay, we're starting the process now. Know that it will be shipped to your homes through our 1099 provider. Now,
Or whatever you have on file on your
with the
W-9.
office.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you moved in the last year, you need to let Michelle or Allison know so that we can get you the information. Make sense? Here's how I also know that a handful of people moved. I sent Christmas cards to a lot of folks. And I, on a weekly basis, get the unable to forward your address to wherever it is that you live now. But just know, what?
Yeah, let's do that.
You know what? I send them, I enjoy Christmas cards. It's like my thing. So I send, yeah. And I figure it's a way for you guys to get a little peek into who I am too, right? Like who my family is. But anyway, so just make sure that if Michelle and Allison have that proper address on file so we can get you the 1099s. Also, as it relates to profit sharing, you will have a 1099 for your profit sharing statement as well. That does come out. You'll get that mid-January. Basically, any questions you have on your taxes, just know that you're going to start to get all these documents here within the next 3 to 4 months. That's leading on taxes.
No, I think that's good. Also, just a good reminder is all of your deductions. So you'll get a 1099 with all of your commission, with your GCI and everything, but all of your deductions are in a separate form. I don't know why, that's just how the KW software works. But so every VAC that you pay to the company, every like donation to KW Cares, that will be on a separate report. So you want to make sure you have both for the whole year.
The whole year. We want to ensure that you don't overpay on
Yeah.
this thing. Make sense? And we are in it with you. Cool.
The separate report's gonna be.
Those we have to print out here. So those will be filed in your mailboxes here. We'll make sure we update you when those are ready. But
Good news in all of it. We're on it. It's coming soon. And we will shoot you out a note with all the details so that you don't miss anything and get all your texts.
And we don't have to pull anything on our own, like we don't have to go in and pull anything on, it'll be in our mailbox to our house.
Or sent your house.
Okay.
I think the profit share.
Profit share, they send you a physical statement. And if you don't get it, it's because your address is wrong in the system. And we need to update it with Michelle and Allison, and we can pull it for you virtually.
All right. So now we have Lindsay with tech and marketing updates. So
All right. Hey, everyone. So
There we go.
last, can you hear me? All right. So I just wanted to kind of regroup and kind of remind everybody about some of these tech and marketing resources that we have that you can utilize throughout the year. And so we rolled out the website, and I mentioned the Key Please app last month, I believe, but I wanted to dive in those a little bit more today. The Southwest Market Center has now been combined with our local website, or kwrealtymke.com. So you'll find every single agent roster on here. So between the North Shore, the Wauwatosa Innovation Office, the Lake Country and Southwest office, every single market center is included within that agent roster that you'll find under our resources tab on the website. But you're also going to find so many other things, such as earnest money protocol, preferred contractors, command and other tech resources. So if you're looking for the like the 66-day challenge YouTube videos, there are links on there for that. We have some new agent resources on here. So if you're looking for like a 30, 60, 90 kind of overview on certain things that you should be working on when you're first starting your business. We have the office W-9 form. So the W-9 for each specific market center is in there. The referral form, if you need to order yard signs, the marketing concierge, which I'll get into in a little bit here, and then also the Key Please information. And again, I'll get into that in just a second. So next slide, I think, is going to go over the marketing concierge a little bit more. And these are just some examples of some of the materials that you can order. So all of the digital materials are free. So if you need to leverage out some marketing, if you need some listing materials created, we've got business cards, email signatures, the listing and buyer presentation. These are specific to our market centers, the Milwaukee market, really geared towards setting yourself apart from other competitors. We have the 12 direct mail campaign. So if you're looking for some local information, we've got ice skating rinks that you can send out to your sphere, local spas within driving distance of Milwaukee. So those are two that we've come out with for January and February. So those you can mail out, you can post on social media, and you can email them through Smart Plans in Command. Like I mentioned, yard signs, so all the pricing and all of the different signs that are available that you can order are on our website. We also have trifold brochures, which quite a few of our agents have utilized in the past few months, and they're great to hand out at open houses, for showings, anything like that. And we can really personalize those with whatever information that you want to include. So again, the KW Marketing Concierge, all of the order forms are on this specific page on the site, and you'll just fill them out, and then we'll be in touch within like 2 to 3 days with those materials. The last thing that I have is the Key Please app. So you guys, this is now available to everybody in the Southwest office. So if you haven't already, go into your app store, your Google Play Store, type in Key Please, please with a Z, and you can download this app and you can sign in and create an account. If you go onto this section on the website, the Showing Assistance tab, this is also going to include the brokerage license number that you'll need in order to create your account. So you'll need your license number and that brokerage license number as well. So again, this will allow you to create an account, sign up for the app, and you'll be able to leverage more than 600 agents across our 4 market centers. So whether you need help with showings or holding an open house, letting a contractor in, if you need someone to sit in during an inspection, this is what the Key Please app is all about. You can post those opportunities in there. If you're a new agent, you want to gain some experience, open up this app and see what other agents are posting for those opportunities. So super exciting, you guys. If you have any questions on this app, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need help logging into the app. And again, I can help with all of that. They have a great support that is super timely and really, really good at communication. So leverage this app. It's awesome. And I think I have one other.
Brandon,
oh yeah.
Can you put together a quick Key Please 101 guide with a resource so that we can send out to the entire Southwest office? They know how to access it and utilize it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll put something together and we'll send it out to you guys.
Beautiful. Thanks.
Yeah, and then one last thing, I just wanted to kind of cover what we're doing for marketing and tech training for the month of January. We're really focusing on database. So you'll hear that a lot this month. This week, we are talking about getting your contacts up to 201. So I had gone over that last month, getting 201 contacts in your database just increases your GCI. Stay tuned for that. All of our trainings are on Thursdays at 11 a.m. They're over Zoom. So these are also recorded, uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you can't make them that date and time, know that they will be recorded and uploaded. In a couple of weeks on January 19th, we're going over how to effectively manage your database in Command. So not just, once you have a database in, what do you do with it? How do you tag? How do you apply those smart views? All of those types of things we're covering over on the 19th. And then the 26th, we're going to be talking about setting up the DTD2 follow-up plan, and then how to utilize the KW consumer, or not the consumer app, the Command app, in order to follow up with your database. So again, you'll see those links on the training calendar. So you just click on the marketing masterminds and you'll be able to get in and access that Zoom link.
Beautiful. Vranek, thank you. Guys, here's what I want you to write down.
Thank you.
200 equals 100K. Okay. Yesterday I taught Ignite. I'm going to touch on this here in a second. What we found with the 70 people in the room in Ignite, which was awesome, by the way, was, and Ethan, I'll give you a shout out because you brought Deshaun, right? And we learned Deshaun has big goals. But what did we also learn? He doesn't have a database big enough to support his goals. So he was working towards something that feasibly wasn't effectively possible. Does that make sense? So what you're going to see is a lot of stuff on the training and education calendar as it relates to Lindsay and what she can do for you. It's going to be database, 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 until we're blue in the face. Because based on the trends in the market, hint, hint, the last 3 months, we're down about 30%. Based on the trends in the market, your database is becoming ever more important than it ever has before if you want to continue to grow your income despite industry headwinds. So if you want to make 300K, you got to have 600 people in a database, right? If you want to make $1 million, you basically have to have 1,000 plus, right? So on and so forth. The math works. It's directly correlative as to how big your database is in a scale of 200, and just keep scaling up based on how much you want to make. And so what you're going to see from Lindsay is more stuff focused on how to help you get to 200, 400, 600, 800, so on and so forth. And then once you have that many people in there, how do we touch them? How do we nurture them? How do we convert them? Make sense? Yes. Beautiful. That will be a huge focus for us in 2020. Cool? Love it. One other thing as it relates to Key Please, we will get you that guide so you know how to use it. It's like Uber. It's help for Uber, Uber for help. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You need to drop a lockbox off in, I don't know, you took a listing in Wilmont, Cudahy. Yeah. You know, you have a buyer that wants to go see something in Port Washington. You have access to 600 KW folks who are on the platform. It is, hey, I need to drop a lockbox. Hey, I need someone to go sit an inspection. And the beauty of it is you don't have to negotiate the pay. You can send it out. And Tony, if you send it out and you really like Joe Smith and Joe Smith is your guy, you can favorite Joe Smith and you can send the opportunities to your favorites right away before it sends it out to the rest of the group. It's a great piece of leverage for you to leverage the network across all of southeastern Wisconsin to make your life easier. And that you're not traveling all over God's green earth to get things done when you can pay someone who's closer to the thing you need done really quickly. And you don't have to facilitate payment. That's always the most uncomfortable thing. Hey, dude, you owe me like $50, remember? You know, make sense? Cool. More to come on that. All right, I'm going to jump into a few market stats for you, things to think about, things you probably are already aware of, and I don't want you to wallow in this too long. So I'm going to go through this fast. This? Beautiful. I'm going to move through this fast. Okay, buyer showing activity. Good news, bad news. Good news is it's following historical trends. Okay, we're following the seasonal nature of what goes on within the industry. Also, more good news, southeastern Wisconsin is outperforming national trends in terms of its buyer demand, which is really healthy for all of us. We're in a very good market. More news to come on that. Bad news is it's still softer than where it's been. Probably no shock to anyone, right? Okay, moving on. This is units under contract, okay? Units under contract. Again, I'm going to say this quickly because I don't want you to get too deep into some of what this means. But December units that went under contract, down 30%. November, down 33%. October, down 32%. Okay? This is all stuff that'll probably close January, December, January, February. It's directly correlative. Why? October was down 32% in units closed, units under contract. And I know units closed was down 30% in December. Like this showing up 60 days later, right? So January, intent, if you're soft, guess what? The market's soft. Don't get too down on yourself. Okay. Just perspective. The reason I share this isn't so much about what you do with this with your clients, is to make sure that you maintain a healthy relationship with the perspective of what's going on in the market. Make sense? Cool. So sales absorption rate, I'm going to fly through. Okay. Average days on market. Interesting trend. So while demand has softened a tad, the velocity and rate of sale in which listings come to the market has actually picked up versus last year. So December, homes were selling 13% faster. November, they were selling 4% faster. October, it was basically flat. Now, they're still on average selling around 30 to 33 days on market in terms of velocity rate of sale. The reason why this is important for those of you who have sellers that are considering listing, the message is it's okay if you decide to sell based on the current market, things are moving through the system. I would be more concerned if demand was softening and days on market was getting longer. Then we got a double-edged sword, but we don't have that problem right now, right? So if a seller decides to sell in today's environment, no worries, the demand is still there. We're still moving through the system. Make sense? Cool. Months of supply inventory. This is somewhat of a deceiving stat if you only look specifically at percentages. Okay. Percentage of months of supply inventory, December it was up 43%, November was up 24%, October was up 10%. That sounds like it's growing a lot, but it's December of this year versus December of last year. Now it takes into account. However, when you look at months of supply, we went from 1.3 to 1.9. Like we're still below 2 months of supply of inventory. For perspective, 3 months is a balanced market. So months of supply inventories has increased slightly, but yet rate of sale has still kept it at forward pace. It's still okay. It's still a seller's market. If you need to sell, we will sell your home. No problem. Right? Now, new units, this is where it's going to start to show up where you're going to feel the pain in 23. Okay? Because demand hasn't fallen off a cliff. It's still there despite interest rates around 6%. Right? New units coming to the market has totally softened. So let's use this as a real life example. I'm now an empty nester. I'm considering downsizing, but I refied in June of 21. I'm sitting at a 2.8% interest rate. You know what? I can ride this out for another year. Or the family where the person got a job, another job, they're making more money because the labor market's really good. Wages continue to go up. People are doing really well. From a labor market standpoint, they're making good money, and they decide to go from the 3-bedroom house to the 4-bedroom house, right? That person say, yeah, you know what, I'll just hang tight. I don't need to sell my 3-bedroom house, which is the first-time home buyer that's looking to get into the market. So they're sitting tight, right? So the more new inventory continues to sit tight is going to put more pressure on what is already a tight inventory market, right? And as time goes on, as these numbers continue to see this trend, this will be the #1 reason why units will go down in 2023. And I'm predicting them to go down around 10 to 15. Okay. I think the unit will go down 10 to 15%, not because there aren't buyers who want to buy, just simply sellers who don't want to put their home on the market, and it will put a kink in the system. Make sense? So that kink is going to show up, which is why we're focused on database, which is why we're focused on the skills-based market. Make sense? Cool. Lastly, total inventory. We thought we were in an already tight inventory market, and inventory is down 16% in December, down 18% in November, down 22% in October. Having said all that, what do you think it's done to pricing? Continues to appreciate. So we're kind of sitting in this, as you think about Q1, we're sitting in a phase in the market where our jobs go to work with our relationships. Here's what I know. As soon as the inflationary pressures get under control, they're going to pull the lever on rates, because the lever on rates is the engine to the macro economy in the US. And the demographics about who has been waiting to get into the housing market only continues to build as that kink has been there, right? The question, the thing that is somewhat uncertain, we don't know if that's 6 months, we don't know if it's 12 months, we don't know if it's 18 months, we don't know if it's 20 months. As we start to see basically the Fed pull the rates lever, which then opens up the market. And I think once we see, Gustavo, correct me if I'm wrong, once we see rates around 5%, I think this thing's gonna go right back to like cooking. They will. I think it's gonna cook. The question is how long is it gonna take for the oven to heat up, right? And so I say all that just as we head into Q1 and Q2 of 2023 is continue to be consistent in your activities and you will be fine over time. Just don't freak out in Q1 as we're facing with things that are totally out of our control. Control what you can control, which is your relationship. Make sense? Yeah. Cool. Having said all that, I do want to share two things with you. Okay. Gross commission incomes earned across all 4 locations in southeastern Wisconsin. We surpassed $60 million that were paid to associates in 2020. What that does for you and your families, and you know what you do with your money, like that is, and I think honestly, I don't think Michelle and Allison and the rest of the MCA team gets enough credit for the sheer transactional volume these guys. Like they paid out, basically it was 6,000 transactional units across all 4 locations, and they paid people $60 million. Like Allison, Michelle, Jen, and Emily, the 4 of them who do it all, and Jen Church up in Prestige, like those guys, they're Wonder Women. They're incredible people. So thank you. The other cool thing is gross commission incomes paid out across all of KW was up 7% last year. So people made more money despite a market that ended up down, right? Now, profit share, December, we're going to pay out $61,000 in profit share. Again, I'm sharing you across all of KW Milwaukee because the opportunity for you to earn profit share doesn't matter whether the agent sits here, sits anywhere else across Prestige, Lake Country, Innovation, whatever. Like, I want you to see the opportunity of what's available in profit share. 61,000 is getting paid out on January 21st. Year to date last year, we're going to pay out just shy of $820,000. It's a real thing. Profit share is a real thing. And there are people in this room that take a real advantage of it. It's incredibly healthy and a totally passive income. The only thing you have to invest is a little bit of your time and a little bit of your energy. And you don't have to invest any capital. We'll see incredible returns on this. Yeah, Zach.
I was going to say, like 4 years ago, I remember in December, you guys penny
Yeah.
for profit share. like the market share was profit for like $5 or something like that. They divide out amongst everybody. So we're better spacing now than we were when we were in the old building down the street.
I mean, like January 21 rolls around, and I mean, like, I'll just speak to myself. I got Christmas credit card bills that I'm staring down the barrel to, and I'm like, well, profit, that's stuff. Or if it puts into a 401k or an IRA or a SEP or whatever you do with it, like it's real.
Or Italy money.
Really?
Yes, so our profit share goes into a separate account from everything else. And then that's our fund money. Like if we want to save it, we can, but we use it for trips and vacations. And so Italy was 100% paid for by profit share, including the spending while we were there.
Yeah. And how long were you in Italy?
16 days.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. So be on the lookout for your profit shares that drops on the 21st. It's a real opportunity for those to take advantage of it. And Ethan, I'm stoked to help Deshaun get going to help you realize more of that opportunity. Beautiful. All right, lastly, just for me, and then I'll wrap up. I'll be done. I've been doing this now for 6 years. Every year, the first team meeting of the year, I always give our team a phrase of focus. Okay, and I'm going to send you a note as it relates to how I developed for the things that I took in to develop our phrase of focus. And as we get to know each other, you will see that this interweaves into my life and everything I do throughout the year. And every year there's different things that I've been focused on, and I try and make it who I am so that you can see the way in which that I show up for you. And I share them with you because I've found that it helped a lot of other people in what they do. So 2023, here are my I have 3 of them. 3 phrases of focus. Okay. 1, today is day 1. And I'm going to give you perspective on what that means. In 1997, Jeff Bezos penned his first letter to Amazon shareholders the day after they had their IPO. Okay. He shared his first letter. In the very first line of his letter, it says, today is day 1 of the internet. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that with you, the letter. The lessons within his letter around his day 1 mantra, even though, hint, hint, the internet wasn't created in 1997, his concept to it was this. He wakes up every single day believing that Amazon is this tiny little startup that they have to earn the opportunity every single day to continue. In 1997, they had 1.5 million customers when they went IPO. Today, they surpassed well into the billions. Right? When they launched in this letter, you'll see in the testament and the lessons that you learn from this letter are timeless in the way in which you can run your business. When he launched, he had 1,500 employees. Today, he has over 500,000. Right? And it talked about being a customer-centric business model to help change people's lives. And every single day, he wakes up and he says, today is day 1, today is day 1, today is day 1, today is day 1. So I'll share that letter with you. And if you choose to read it, totally cool. I think it's absolutely a profound letter. So that gives you a little perspective as to why I say today is day 1. Because as soon as you hit day 2 is when complacency bleeds in. And then complacency leads to a lot of other things. And there are books written on the day 1 mantra. There are TED Talks about Jeff Bezos. He talks about it all the time. It's incredibly powerful, but I'll share it with you if you want to internalize it. Second, be consistent. Okay? Be consistent in who you are and be consistent in how you show up. Be consistent in your activities and you'll be fine. I also believe in a tough market, in a market that could go like this year, here's also what I know. This is money. This is drama. When people make money, there is no drama. When people don't make money is when drama shows up. Okay? If you are consistent in who you are every single day and be consistent in your approach and be consistent in your activities, this stuff won't affect you. But it is going to affect those who you work with at some point. You're going to have a co-broke that's going to go off the rails. And my third phrase will make sense here in a second. Be curious. Okay, come from a place of curiosity and ways in which you can help them because it probably isn't something you did. There's something else going on in their life that shows up, right? If you're consistent, you know, there's another phrase I use all the time, be the calmest person in a transaction where your heart rate isn't going like this, it's just going like this. Be consistent and you will serve your relationships, your database, your families, your friends, everybody, you will serve them at the highest level. If you live a world like this, it's exhausting. And a lot of things show up in people's lives when they live a life like this. So just be consistent. Okay. And the third one is be curious. Like I've never met an incredibly successful person who isn't incredibly inquisitive. The most inquisitive, and Nate, I'll give you a ton of credit to. Like you ask a ton of questions, and it's one of the things that I think makes you so successful because you're incredibly curious, incredibly inquisitive. Like, keep being you, don't change. Be curious. And when that stuff shows up or you find drama in your life, don't take it personally, be curious, and it'll serve you incredibly well. And how you serve your clients. So there you go. I have 3 phrases of focus every year. I always share them. I'll send you a little note that gives you a little perspective, including the day 1 letter. If it helps you, great. And if you click delete, no big deal. It's the way in which you will see me show up in 2023. This is the way what I look at every single morning when I wake up. It reminders as to what I need to do to serve you guys and serve our leadership teams. Cool?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Yeah. All right.
So my mantra actually goes along with Charlie's number 2. It's thought long and hard about it, but feed the tortoise. The tortoise.
Wins the race.
Yeah, slow and steady, consistent, never freaking out when the rabbit's all going crazy. Yeah.
There was one that you dropped at Bold.
Yeah.
That has like stuck with me and the team of the find peace and consistency in your pursuit.
Yeah.
That has been a game changer for our team, especially the find peace in this pace. It's a different market, but that's okay. Like you can find a lot of peace in the pace we're operating in right now. Instead of looking at it as a disadvantage, it's like, great, it's time for us to get back to the relationships, get back to the actually being a consultant and training and development and learning based instead of just reacting and transactional. So I just want to thank you for that one too.
Find peace in the pace and be persistent in your pursuit. And I found the reason I came up with that, for those that weren't in Bold, I'll just give you the backstory too. Backstory was, as we were talking to a bunch of top people in the mastermind, all the people made over $1 million net a year. And their businesses were totally soft. November, December, they weren't making a ton of money. And they were incredibly calm. And the message to this, we call it the $1 Million Roundtable. The $1 Million Roundtable was, they were just persistent. That's why I used persistent. That's synonymous. They were persistent in their pursuit of what they wanted to achieve, and they weren't freaking out about what was going on. So they found peace. And if you find peace in it, you'll serve. And you'll serve your families and everybody else. Yeah.
And then just a reminder, Monday is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So our office will be closed. Did you want to go over the quotes at all? Or do you want me to just read them?
Sure. So in honor of Dr. King's Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, it seems like a big quote day today, or whatever. But we're, as a business, we recognize this day as well, right? Banks are closed, it's now a federal holiday. And I've always pulled 2 things out of Martin Luther King's teachings that I just wanted to share with the group as a reminder that Monday's done. 1, stick to love. Hate is too great a burden to bear, right? Whatever you have holding on, or where you have family members or whatever, I went to Christmas Eve Mass and Father said, like, a lot of people have family drama and they hold it against each other. Like, man, that is heavy stuff to be carrying around, right? Choose love, hate's too burden to great. The other one, and I think this is really timely based on what I was just talking about, people fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they don't communicate with each other. Okay? Open lines of communication and dialogue when you feel like something's getting funky. Open lines of communication would be great. Monday, offices will be closed in honor of Martin Luther King. You will have access to them, though, as you always do, 24/7. Obviously, clients or this and the other. I want you to be aware that there will be limited functionality. Cool. Beautiful.
I like making Charlie talk. He always says awesome things.
Sure, I'll come up.
Okay, so there will not be any contract trainings on Mondays for Ignite. So just it'll resume, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd week in February, but we'll keep you posted on that. The Morning Mojo on Zoom will be at 8:15 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do have a lot of people that go on the Zoom that actually come to Ignite. So we are also considering changing it to be at 8:15 every day. So it's, I know Nicole doesn't like it, but we have one person. It does start at 9 on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right, if you want
But-
to start at like 5:30.
And then now, the Profit Mastermind and the Leadership Mastermind will only be offered on Zoom, so it won't be in person. Okay, so we have some training and events coming up. Charlie, you want to talk about
Yeah.
this one?
No, I'm moving on. Well,
Yeah.
Well, do you want to, you guys can read
Here,
it.
hold on.
Oh, wait.
I want to just share on one thing. Okay, we talked about a skills-based market. I got to give a shout out to this market center. Yesterday, we hosted 68 people for Ignite in this room. Okay, it was like Southwest Airlines when the stewardess comes on and says, hey, don't get too comfortable with that open seat next to you because someone will be filling it. Okay, this market center had the most number of attendees, which I hope would happen because we were hosting it here. Okay, and we blended all 4 locations together for diversity of thought, diversity of approach. We are honing in on a skills-based market. If you decide you want to show up to Ignite, show up. Even if it's one topic, one person you want to learn from. You don't have to be through the whole thing. The rest of the 68 people that signed up, they made a commitment to be there for the rest of the 4 weeks, right, Ethan? Love it. Okay. There are some incredible instructors with who do incredible things. And again, we tried to blend everything. So so for example, I'm just gonna publicly say it, like Gene Greckles, I know you guys are awesome in teaching Ignite. And we didn't have you on the schedule this time. And I said to Wooten,
We can take a break.
Yeah.
It's been like 7 years.
No. But like, we're trying to cross pollinate so you guys get different people all the time.
Love it.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So Wednesday's instructors, Dan and Sherry Wild, phenomenal. Backstory, they used to both work at Harley Davidson. Last May, they quit their jobs in Harley Davidson to go full-time in real estate. They sold $10 million last year and they spent 6 weeks in Costa Rica.
Wow.
They built a life by design. Okay, Emily Fair is who I referenced earlier. She does $140 million book of business between Chicago and Milwaukee. She's teaching this week, Friday. Okay, James Crickberg, one of the greatest. Okay, he's teaching next week. You got Brew, Aletha Champagne. Like, these are great people that want to pour into you. If you want to show up, just show up and grab a seat. And I loved how many people were all in yesterday, digging into their business. And well, you hear this from me, I am obsessing over how to help you become productive, right? So that's Ignite. If you want to jump in, feel free to jump in. Cool? Love it. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 11-ish.
Where?
Here,
Always here?
always here. And it's only in person. Lastly, just for future pacing, we're gonna host Ignite at minimum twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. Moving forward, it will always be here. And we are gonna continue to cross-pollinate the instructors based on different market centers to again, give different people diversity of thought, diversity of approach. So you can plug in, plug out when you need to, but we're moving forward. It'll always be in January. And I think like July or August, and then we may sprinkle one more in the fall, but we're gonna centrally locate it. Make sense? Cool. I'll just run through this quick. Pricing strategies. Emily's also teaching a pricing strategies class Wednesday, 2 o'clock. Her and Kevin, her business partner, is out in the Lake Country training room. This week, Friday, Maureen hosts a mastermind that some of you have been invited to in the past. Okay. What she does is she pulls friends from across the country who run big books of business. This month, for the one time, we're going to open it up to anybody. Okay. And the reason why we do that is so that you guys can get the perspective of what it means to be in an invite-only mastermind group that we call Maureen and Friends, because she pulls people from all over the country to come in and have a conversation. This week's call is with Josh Weinberg of the Weinberg Choi team out of downtown Chicago, $150 million plus team, high-end in the luxury market. They do everything from high-end in the luxury market to a $200,000 house in Journey. They do it all. They are incredibly intentional and purposeful. You want to jump into it? Feel free. It's all via Zoom. Okay, holiday party, don't stress about the dress code. Come as you are, whatever fills you up and makes you get on the dance floor, wear that.
But please come dressed.
No birthday suits.
It's too cold out.
Kyle, Bold 100?
Yes, it's January 26th. We're going for 12 hours. It's gonna start at 8 o'clock and end at 8 o'clock, and there's gonna be a little happy hour in between at the very end, but it's gonna be a happy hour every hour.
If you didn't like Leech, if you didn't like Legion before, just get a few drinks in you.
That's
You'll
the
love
whole point about it. It's gonna be have some fun. It's gonna be a Bold 100 and start your. We're gonna hopefully do this once a month, if not quarterly at the very least.
Dude, this guy is, if you don't know his results from what he did on his last Bold 100, you should ask him about it. It's incredible. And if you want to learn how to lead gen, just go sit down next to him and listen. You'll learn through osmosis.
Thursday? Yeah. At least. Yeah.
Kyle, I hope you're there. Last thing, maybe?
No.
2 more.
Yeah.
Family reunion's coming up February 18th to the 21st in Anaheim, California. My personal opinion, it's the best event KW does. Here's why. Mega Camp, the message at Mega Camp is really at like such a high level. It's hard for some people to scale to that level. It's for the top 10% in the whole. Family reunion, whether you're brand new or you're scaling your business or have scaled a business, you can find anything for you. It's like going to Baskin Robbins 31 flavors. You can walk into any room and figure out a way in which to do it. Historically, there's always been around 50 to 75 folks from southeastern Wisconsin that go. If you're interested, sign up. Cool? Yes.
For those that are not planning on attending physically, are the market centers
There's
putting anything
only,
together?
there's no streaming.
There is no streaming.
Virtual.
Virtual option. Huh?
So I am going. I take copious notes. If there's something that you need or you want me to bring back, I will. If you can't make it, like I'm also sensitive to, I'll be really honest. Heading into the market we are, people are making tough decisions on expenses. Getting to California isn't cheap. There's no pressure to it. I just want to make sure that people are aware of it. And my job is, our jobs as leadership is to make sure that we're gathering good intel for you and bringing it back to you to help.
You have a special request.
Yes.
Reach out to Gary Todd really quick.
Just let them know.
See if like maybe open up that virtual option.
Of course, the 1 year we can't, my brother is getting married, so like we can't make it this year. And it's
He
like,
didn't
the
check the dates.
I
I
know.
know.
Go to the wedding. Last year, I had a kid.
Yeah.
I had a kid on February 15th, couldn't go to family reunion. Having a kid was far more important. Going to your brother's wedding is far more important
Yeah,
than.
well, and he's getting married in Vegas. so-
You're after that, you're after that.
Okay, so really quickly, I did want to talk about brokers opens. You guys might not even remember what these are. I do. So brokers opens are when typically a house is held open for only real estate agents to come through and tour it for their clients. A lot of times a lender will provide food or a title company will provide like a nice little lunch. It just depends on when it is and who you have contacts with. You will be getting emails from Willis that has submit your broker open. So if you do want to have broker opens, they go on this list and then you can check them out and see where you want to eat lunch that day. So it's great.
And or you have a listing you want to host open. Willis is communicating this to nearly every office in southeastern Wisconsin. So this is going back to like us consolidating resources so that we have one person doing it at a really high level versus 5 people doing it at like an average level.
Mhm.
So you're starting to see where we're implementing some of the leadership changes so that we're serving you at a higher level.
Yep. So be on the lookout for these emails from Willis. And then does anybody have any upcoming listings or anything?
Well, this is the DFI.
Sorry, my
Oh, yeah.
apologies. Willis Love is DFI in North Shore, but his responsibilities are a lot more about communication, engagement. And if you haven't met him, if you ever make it into the North Shore, you will know who he is within 2 seconds.
Yes. That's why I always forget people don't know who he is.
Yes, Tony.
Okay.
Oh, upcoming listings.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so 3-bed, 2-bath, single family ranch home in Menominee Falls. We're launching this week at $399.9. 3-bed, 2 full bath bungalow in West Allis. Listed at $259.9, launching this week. We've got a 4-bed, 2 full bath tri-level with a pole barn on 2 acres in Caledonia, going on the market in 2 weeks, currently in private status. We have a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, single family on North 22nd Street, listing at $215. We'll be going on the market in a couple weeks. Any buyers in Greendale? Tri-level, 3-bed, 2 full bath, super retro, bohemian chic. I would buy this house. It is super cool. We're gonna be listing at $340, and that's what I got, right?
So basically, they took all the listings.
Let's do some deals. Let's keep it KW, people. Please, and just let, as many of you know, who work with me, we take almost all of our listings as excluded from MLS, which means I cannot publicly market them, but we can show them prior to going on the MLS. You just have to reach out to us and let us know you have a buyer. You may have to pay to play a little bit, but we can put it together. Okay?
Anyone else? Just to give you an update, also, if you guys have any listings coming up that do need open houses and you're not available to do it, Ethan is looking to hit his goal of 50 open houses this year. So reach out to him. Yeah. And if you'd like to stay after, James is going to play the Keeping Current Matters market update. So we will have that up here. So feel free to stay if you can. And the end.
It's a shock to me. I'm scared.
No, it's
Okay.